Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Logan and today we are going to be looking at the Gwai Lenormand by Charlotte Moy. Now this is Charlotte's second deck. Her first one was the Lenormand Tarot, which I showed off on my channel earlier in the year. In French it translates to, I believe, the Eye of the Soul or the Third Eye Tarot. I can't remember which. Gorgeous deck. This deck is very much so a sister deck to that one, stylistically, at least technique-wise, and with Charlotte's signature style, and I do mean signature. It is quite unique. But this is a much groovier deck with a very different color palette, but you can still tell it's definitely done by the same artist. So the Gwai Lenormand, first edition, 2022, contains 36 digitally illustrated cards by Hong Kong artist Charlotte Moy. Designed as a sister deck to the Lenormand Tarot, this deck is much more straightforward, but it will always try to be kind about it. Now to start, we have, first of all, I love all of this silver foil detail. I have become a foil slut this year, and I'm not going to apologize for that. We have a really nice magnetic closure box. I love the magnetic boxes. Inside, we just have written and illustrated by Charlotte Moy from late 2021 to 2022. All rights reserved, Charlotte Moy. We also have a ribbon to ease it out of the box, which I appreciate. And I totally want to do a ribbon on my next deck. I think it's so cool and just practical. We have how to care for the deck. Do a reading and carry it with you. The more you touch the deck, the more connected it will be to you. Be kind to yourself and the deck. Understand that both have limits. Do not overwork either, which is fantastic advice, just in general, to not overwork ourselves, but also when it comes to doing readings, I think it's really important to come at it refreshed with respect for both ourselves and the tool. This deck is dedicated to my aunt who taught me magic and my mom who taught me to believe in it, which is just, it's such a beautiful little tribute there. I am super excited for this deck. I backed it on Kickstarter the second I heard about it because I really love Charlotte's first deck, the Lenormand Tarot. And when I got a glimpse of what this Lenormand deck looked like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be all over that. They have really interesting matte silver edges, which are very nice. The card back, look how stunning. This is very similar to the card back of the Lenormand Tarot. Just gorgeous. So these are numbered, and we have the titles at the bottom in this cool groovy font. So we have the rider, which I think is very cool, very strange. The way obviously the horse would have a long body, but the way that this end of it also seems to have a long body, like, is it a rider with a cloak and the cloak is just covering the horse? Is it like the Pokemon Giraffe rig? Like, what's happening? I find it mysterious. And we also have like a little satchel here, which I appreciate because the rider often brings news, you know. To the clover. I just love how groovy, psychedelic, and weird this deck is. A little eyeball in the middle. The ship, I love this design so much. The sails are beautiful. The vessel is beautiful. The little line details, the distressed lines in the water is just so pretty. Again, the eye. These cards also feel really nice. It's a very nice matte finish. The house, it's a very cute little mushroom house. The tree, I really enjoy the root system on this and the little bits of detail in the bark. The angular or like geometric almost quality of some of the branches makes me think of that game Grease, or is it Gris? I think it's Grease. Really cool game. Check it out if you're into video games. It's usually on sale and pretty cheap to start with, but amazing art in it. For 6, we have the clouds. I enjoy the teardrop here on this figure. The snake, so cool. I just love the angular quality to it. I love how much of the card the snake is taking up. I love the jagged little teeth in the mouth. It's so cool. We even have the rattle at the bottom. The coffin, This is very interesting. They're all wrapped up like a mummy. Uh, Again, we have the one big eye that's closed. The little tiny details like the centipedes, the little beetles, the bones in the dirt. I think it's just so thoughtful and interesting and whimsical. The bouquet. I feel like, for me at least, I always tend to associate the bouquet with receiving invitations or like positive opportunities, networking wise. Like, anytime somebody's going to send you flowers, sort of thing, for a happy occasion. And I feel like we get a bit more of that vibe with the bottles of wine over here and the glass poured over here. Like, ah, yes, we've been invited somewhere and we've accepted. Or who knows, maybe this is more of the beautification aspect of the card, and this is like just a table, a centerpiece at a table at some snazzy event. Either way, it feels lived in, which I guess is what I'm trying to say I appreciate. The scythe. Love a big ass scythe. The whip. The coloring on this one is so cool. I love the purple landscape background. I love how the cord of the whip itself is almost glowing like some phosphorescent creature. I love the greenish clouds. We have another figure in the background. It's almost like the whip is floating between these two figures, kind of helping to like illustrate that whole back and forth conflict vibe that we get with the whip. The birds, we have a gigantic owl, which is crazy looking and cool. I love the detail in the bark, the detail in the talons and the feathers. These very soft gradients we get about here, and then into like these red outlines for the darker feathers, which just blend with everything else. It's really nice. Child is cool and creepy. Charlotte's imagination is just wonderful. The fox, which I love. I love greens, like cool greens with nice warm oranges, especially with the little bits of blue and yellow and purple thrown in. I think just color-wise, it's fantastic. The bear, just very cool. The star, which is beautiful. I think I have an alternate version of this card as my save screen, actually. I wonder if this was the original version. I guess it would be, since it's a night sky. I think the one I have is a daytime sky, so maybe it's a different card, but I think it's a similar, I think it's just an alternate of this. The stork, very beautiful. Love the nice rougey, blushy cheeks on the stork. The dog is painfully cute. Oh my goodness. Is it a Pomeranian? Is it a Chow Chow? What is it? It's so cute. All the texture and it's fluffy. It's just so cute. Look at the little tongue. I can't. That, I think, hands down, is the cutest full body dog card I have ever seen in my life. Lenormand Tarot, any of it. So cute. I, of course, am partial to the dog card and my pink sugar and black salt decks, because that is a basically like line drawing portrait of my mom's dog Gia, who I adore because she's the perfect sweet angle baby. But this is so cute. I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna calm down. I don't want to, but I'm gonna calm down. The tower, very strange looking. We have this weird door at the top, the vines going up it. Again, the eye, really appreciate it. The garden, this beautiful little gazebo in this very like almost wildernessy type of place. Like nature is very much thriving here. It's not overly manicured. We have a little pathway to get there, but it's pretty wild looking outside of that, which I think is glorious. The mountain, maybe looking down at whatever tiny insignificant fool is going to try to traverse it. I enjoy that it's rounded on the top. It kind of puts me in mind of the mountains and hills from the old Super Mario Bros. Games. Good times. The crossroad. I'm really digging these like hooded figures throughout the deck. The mouse. I'm a little amused that the mouse has all this like cheddar colored background to it. The heart. Come on, blood and guts. This is it's not like there's sparkles in it, but it's not like your pastel um, sweetheart vibe. It's very blood and guts. There's an eyeball floating in there. It's kind of gross, but I like it. It's very, I feel like it's hard more in the context of like the core of something, even maybe bodily, as opposed to super love driven. But then even with the stopper in the bottle, we do still get a nice shot of pink, which I think gives us a little bit more of that like lighthearted, sugary, romantic edge. Um, but yeah, it's just it's like Edgar Allan Poe from the neck down. The ring, I love this card. I think it's gorgeous. I love that we have an eye yet again, and it's looking up at the subject of the card. I love the fingernail shape or shapes on the hand. It's just really beautiful. Colors are great too. The book, just so simple but so effective. What's it say on the side? Okay, it doesn't. It's a series of, maybe it means something, but I can't make it out. The letter, I love the gradient in the background. Like a gradient plaid is not something I see a whole lot of, so I really appreciate that. Also, just the bundle of letters is really cool. The masculine, I really appreciate this nice, big, arguably feminine grandma style earring that they're wearing. It's really cool. We have a cool like potted fire plant over here with, I'm not certain, but is that a tiny dick and balls inside of the ball of fire? I'm trying to see if there's anything similar on the feminine, but I can't quite tell. I might have to look that up in the booklet whenever we're done flipping through. The feminine, look at this glorious mane, first of all, but glorious body hair. It's fantastic. Fantastic. I love that we're not just getting a stereotypical man-woman card where it's like, oh, look at our gender roles that we're fulfilling so like completely. It's no. We're just going to have aspects, facets of gender without actually jumping into it. And then, we're going to kind of mix it up even from there. I appreciate that. It's interesting. It's more real life. It's inclusive and considerate. I'm a fan. The lily, I really appreciate this. I've never seen a calla lily as the lily for this card before. And I love calla lilies, so I'm really down for this. The sun. This is gorgeous and cool, and I really enjoy it. Giant flaming eyeball sprouting up with foliage and such. Earth in the distance, I think, is a really fun inclusion. See, she's imaginative and she's inventive and she has fun with her art, I feel. So I really appreciate it. The moon is another kind of plant, which is really interesting. Which I guess makes sense. The star we passed earlier, it might be too far back to dig it up now. The star we passed earlier was also a plant. So that's cool. I like the continuity there. The key, this is just beautiful. The wings on this really, again, I've said it about her other deck, give me the artwork from Madoka Magica. The fish, glorious in this dirty water over here, kind of like anglerfish vibes going on. I love how the body is just sort of like stuffed into the size of the card. The anchor, just really pretty. Look at the lines on all this like coral and bits and stuff. And then lastly, we have the cross, which is beautiful. I'm never one for religious imagery. Oh, there's the star. I'm never one for religious imagery in my decks. There's a lot of stuff that, at least in the US, I feel like we get pummeled with from birth. Symbols and things we're told that we should care about, and what makes life worth living, and what makes you successful, and how men should behave, and how women should behave, and know your place, and what you should believe. And so it's just like, yeah, if I could not have like gender stereotypes and religious imagery, Christian imagery stuffed into my decks and further stuffed down my gullet through my hobbies, that would be great. Okay, thank y'all. I think this deck is great. I think it is fantastic. It feels great in hand. Let's have a look at some of the cards. Ooh, it's full color. I totally forgot that it's a full color guidebook. That's really nice. So she has a little bit in the beginning about, using it in tandem with her tarot deck, which if you can get your hands on, I totally recommend getting. It's just as high of quality and it's stunning. Go watch my video on it, or anybody's video on it. It's just a wonderful deck. She does have some instructions on, 7-card spread, 9-card spread, grant and blow, 3-card spread, 5-card spread. I like it. She has all bases covered, even a 2-card spread. Let's go to the masculine, because I do want to see if that was a tiny dick and balls floating in that little plant-like thing. See, the original Lenormand card is a man and represents masculinity. Traditionally, these traits may include aggression, logic, and physicality. However, as we all know, men, women, and everyone in between can have traits that are traditionally masculine or feminine. Gender is fluid, and anyone can portray masculine traits, whether physically, mentally, or spiritually. Therefore, this card is simply the masculine. Preach. While gender is fluid, this deck is essentially a study of the Lenormand, which is why the card is designed to be more gender neutral rather than replace the man and woman cards. I included a little fire flower in their shirt pocket to indicate the sense of sun masculine association, the yang in this case. The flower also includes a small penis-like keyhole for those who are into the idea of unlocking such traits. I feel so validated that I spotted a tiny, tiny dick in balls. I also feel like a thirsty bitch, but it is what it is. We are what we are we not? I added this in honor of my male friends who are afraid of showing their true selves in certain social settings. May they always have the choice to be who they are whenever they want to. That's really, really lovely. When this card shows up, the masculine could refer to the reader if they have a lot of masculine-leaning traits, or it could also refer to someone else with those qualities. Often the card would be an indication that this person is important in the reader's life. As such, it's easy to use the masculine or the feminine as an anchor and then read its surrounding cards, which is a lovely idea. Let's look for another one to read while we're here. Let's read about the dog because it's insanely, obscenely cute. So of course we have keywords. We have loyalty, friendship, support, energy, follower, and trust, which I am good with. We also have the playing card association. That's nice. So it's the 18th card. It's associated with the 10 of hearts. It's also associated with Venus, Aquarius, and its effects are lasting and positive. The dog as a card usually suggests a person or people around you that embodies the characteristics of a deeply loyal friend who is always supportive of you and your endeavors. This is an indication of a strong support system, perhaps even entreating you to rely on them for the time being. If you're asking about a love interest, for example, this could suggest that the person you're into is ready to devote their entire attention and care to you, and that all they want is your health and happiness. Wouldn't that be really sweet? However, as with how every card has a good and bad, or shall we say, nuanced side, the dog can refer to the characteristic of indecision and pure obedience, of a person who doesn't have a very strong personality and is more than eager to please. Or as a practical reading, especially in times of social media, this could be a card that suggests your power and influence over others. I think that's really interesting that she gave some spotlight to, what this card might might communicate in a less than positive light. I based this card on my Pomeranian Gooby. That's such a cute name. Who had unfortunately passed away in 2014. Oh, rest in peace, sweet baby angel. Gooby. While I didn't have the best relationship with him, he was closer with my mom. I remember the days when he'd just lay on my feet while I was studying. Oh, that's so sweet. I wonder if he was extra spicy and toothy, because I know Pomeranians can be little devils, but damn, they are so cute. I can't. Anyway, so there you have a glimpse into the guidebook. All of the entries are really they really read like we're getting a snapshot from the creator's headspace. She puts a lot of herself into her work, be that her wordcraft or her actual artwork. And that's something I'm appreciative of because that's not easy to do, especially in a way where it's still relatable and interesting. It doesn't just come off as masturbatory. So I totally appreciate that. Thank you so much for chilling with me today and taking a look at the Gwai Lenormand from Charlotte Mui. I just realized I meant to look up and see, I believe in here she mentions what the word Gwai means, and I wanted to point that out. I forgot to. Okay, the naming of the Gwai Lenormand is a little nod to my mother tongue, Cantonese. The word Gwai is the romanization, or Chinglish, or the Cantonese pronunciation of the Chinese word ghost, which is similar to that of monster as well as well-behaved. The first two words invoke the whimsically mystical world the deck inhabits, while the last is the hope that this deck will be less grumpy than my tarot deck. That's really cute. That's really cute. Yeah, her tarot deck, at least when she uses it, it's very spicy with her. And so I think it's really funny that she carried that over as a little joke into her Gwai Lenormand. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and looking at this beautiful Gwai Lenormand deck by Charlotte Mui. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will go ahead and link, I'll provide a link in the video description here if you want to go check out Charlotte's Gwai Lenormand as well as her L'Oeil de l'Homme Tarot. Both are beautiful. I'm pretty sure she also sells prints of her artwork, and I don't know if she still has any available, but she did have a tarot-related, like physical, almost zine that went with her first tarot deck. So, and that was really lovely. But please check her out. She's a fantastic artist. She's incredibly imaginative. She has such an interesting worldview through her art, and she's also just a very kind, compassionate, beautiful soul of a person. So, Charlotte Mui, check her out. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and have a beautiful rest of your day.